Good afternoon, everybody. Going to get started with the before market close live stream and ticker requests. If anybody does have any ticker requests, as always, please let me know inside of the community, and we'll get started. A quick update before we jump into the market. Obviously, getting back to the live streams today, and I know we had a couple new members. So for those that are new, just a reminder: we do the live streams. I usually do them 30 minutes before the market close. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I was doing them Monday to Friday, and I was doing them before the market opened as well, but I'm just, with everything going on right now, lots on my plate, and market's starting to heat up. The market was kind of slow there during the summer lull, which is to be expected, drop off in activity, so we may get back to the regular schedule at some point soon, but like I said, lots going on at the moment. I purchased 2 new condos, so I have the Airbnb condo, I have the condo that I just moved into, and then I have 2 other condos that I'm renovating and getting ready for long-term tenants. So I signed a lease on one and hopefully signing another lease at some point today. So everything should start to calm down, hopefully, until the new year when expecting a child. So things should be slowing down for a little bit, and then more than likely going to get pretty hectic again, but we'll do what I can. And yeah, obviously my main focus right now is on the community. So, but yeah, everything's coming along nicely, and you know, kind of how we navigate. If you're focusing too much on the market, it's easy to get investor fatigue. It's easy to just get, you know, tired of the markets in general. So it's good to kind of stay diversified and have some other things on the go as well, right? Because the market is designed to, you know, kind of bore you into oblivion. And right now we're starting to see the market heat up, but Fed kept the rates. They paused the rates today, and they upgraded their economic outlook. So everything's looking like we could be seeing quantitative easing at some point soon, and we could start to see them cut rates as well. So that could be a potential into the next meeting where they actually start to go back the other way. And if that were to be the case, that would be, you know, more dovish, and we would start to expect quantitative easing at some point and more printing of money, which I think is inevitable. And if we get that, then that's obviously going to send stocks and crypto and risk on assets parabolic. But we'll take a look at the crypto market here at the moment. So Ethereum, definitely one of the lead bulls at the moment in a strong 15-minute uptrend. Pretty much all of our major names in 15-minute uptrends, but you can see here Ethereum definitely leading the way off of the low here, up about 4%. Bitcoin up about 2%. And off since we confirmed a 15-minute uptrend on XRP, we're up about 3.5%. So Chainlink continues to be one of the stronger names as well. It's pushing $12 there at one point. Did we hit 12 bucks? Yeah, we did. We hit 12 bucks and then we pulled back. So it was a daily bull flag that was confirming, but we'll take a look at that in the chart here in just a moment. We'll take a look at Bitcoin though to start, since Bitcoin does lead the market. And if we get everything lining up as we would hope, if we can see, you know, well, this is kind of a good thing. We knew the consensus was they were more than likely going to pause rates again. But if the next time, on the next meeting, if they start to cut and go back the other way, and we get a spot Bitcoin ETF approval all around the same time, that is going to be a massive indication that we're going to see a massive rally, in my opinion, into the end of the year. And what's good for crypto is usually good for equities and, you know, stocks in the broader market. So we know they're very correlated until they're not. But right now, we are starting to see a little bit of a decoupling from crypto and stocks, but it's kind of reminiscent of the lows of March 2020 and C19, right? We know that crypto kind of led the way, and then we would see tech stocks follow. You know, for example, Tesla, they held, you know, billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, so that made sense. We see Bitcoin move, then we would see Tesla move, then we would see the S&P 500 move, and that's because Tesla has a huge weighting in the S&P 500. It's almost like a domino effect, right? So you'd see Bitcoin go up, Tesla go up, S&P 500 go up, and then that would lift, you know, all boats rise together, so to speak. So if we can get those two catalysts into the end of the year, which I think there's a very high probability of getting that, that could be a massive end of year rally that could even spill over into 2024. But at the moment, Bitcoin is a daily bull flag by the looks of it. I haven't drawn it out yet, but you can see here off the low to the high, anything over 31,847 is a potential daily bull flag. And then we would take our measured move from the low to the high here and move that out to the 0.32, and it says in order to negate it, we need to lose 31,847. And in order to confirm now, we must hold that support and break resistance at 35,157 and 23. If we break that resistance and confirm it, we're targeting about 42,628 on Bitcoin. And that also lines up with their fib level there at 42. In terms of the weekly time frame, it's been a while since we consolidated on the weekly. We have no weekly support really till 26,521. We are weekly overbought as well. But we do have a lack of resistance even on the weekly price action until 48,000. So at the moment, we're likely due for a brief cool off period and more than likely just be healthy depending on the size of the pullback. But I think it could happen next week where we potentially see a weekly higher low, and it could even be a weekly bull flag as well. Daily bull flag, weekly bull flag. We'll have to keep an eye on it out for it, but it's essentially the same fib. We can use the same fib levels, and then anything if we start weekly consolidation next week, it's a little early to be calling for that, but we'll see how we close on Friday. But if we lose the low of this week next week on Friday, then again anything over 31,847 is a potential weekly bull flag. On the monthly time frame, we're breaking to a monthly higher high, 35,157. We hit 35,199. So we did break the high of last month, continuing the monthly bounce, and we held key support there at 24,750. We got to 24,900, so that was a save by the bulls right at key support there in the monthly uptrend. We also had our EMA 12 and 26 bull cross already on the monthly time frame. So I do think we could see a little bit more consolidation and pullback here in the short term, but that would just be healthy again in my opinion. And then ultimately, as long as that support there at 24,750 holds, we're just extremely healthy at the moment. No major red flags whatsoever. And then in terms of the monthly price action, nothing until 48,000 either. So if we can get over, like I said, that 35,199, we could very well be heading to that 42 to 48K range in a hurry. In terms of leaders on the day today, we have Solana, GMX, and LBC. Solana getting over $40. On the bear list, we have QKC, XDC, and Quant. So yeah, Link was one of our lead bulls in the market. And you can see here, monthly uptrend confirmed with the low, high, higher low, and higher high. And we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross just like Bitcoin did. And that would likely mean more upside pressure. And we have no monthly resistance really on Chainlink until $38. So even from current levels, if we just go back to next monthly resistance, that's about a 238% move from here. And this puppy got down to about $4.92. And if we just go back to, like I said, around our all-time highs, you're looking at about off the low there over 10x. So this is a name I'm extremely bullish on for the long term. It's actually in my top 5 holdings. I think it took number 4 position away from Algorand based on this move we've recently seen. And Algorand just hasn't really been participating yet, but it could be a nice laggard to be looking at as well. This is kind of the lowest Algorand has ever been, right? Coming off that low there at 8 cents. It's lower than, than the entire history of the chart. So that was a great time to add, in my opinion. But we still haven't confirmed the monthly uptrend, so we still need to do what Bitcoin has done. We still need to do what Chainlink has done, and a lot of our major names where we need the low, we need the high, and the higher low. We're still in a downtrend here with lower highs and lower lows. So I think this could be a nice laggard, and we should retrace back to that EMA 12 there, that yellow line, which is at 18 cents. So this could be a nice swing trade as well. That's about a 66% trade opportunity if we do start to trend back there. Like I said, the more names that are doing so, the better. Like I said, Bitcoin is above all of its monthly EMAs, and we're starting to see Bitcoin dominance really start to shine, right? So this is when Bitcoin dominance is going up, it usually means one of two things. It means that Bitcoin is leading the market, we're getting euphoria in Bitcoin, or it's a flock to safety, right? And we're seeing the altcoin market go up as well, which means to me that Bitcoin is just stronger at the moment. And then if we go down to, for example, Total 2, which excludes Bitcoin, you can see we're actually bouncing on the monthly time frame. So money isn't leaving the market, and we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross there as well. On the total market cap, we're very close to seeing the monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross but still a ways away before seeing it on total too, which excludes everything except includes everything except Bitcoin. So again, the fact that this is still a ways away from seeing its monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross tells me that Bitcoin's a lot stronger. But yeah, Chainlink, let me just bring that up here. It was a daily bull flag. Did we negate that or did we confirm that? No, we haven't negated it yet. So we held that 0.382 fib there at 956 to perfection. And the target right now is about 15 bucks. So as long as that support there holds at 970, then we're more than likely trending back to around that 15 buck area. But if we lose that key support there at 970, then we could be heading back down to that, mid $8 range. S&P 500, so obviously the market responding well to the Fed pausing, which was basically the consensus of what we were expecting, and then the economic outlook provided by the Fed. So they're kind of upgrading their economic assessment of the market. This could be a inverse head and shoulders here on the monthly that's forming to, or sorry, on the daily. You just draw it out like this. So if we do come up to a resistance there or a neckline, and then come back down and form a daily high or low over the next couple of days, then we'll potentially be forming that right shoulder. So we'll keep an eye out on this. It's a little premature, but this is what we can keep an eye out for if we do start consolidation after rejecting here around 424, 425. And then if we do confirm it, the target is about 443. And again, Congress still not being banned from owning stocks yet. And I think that's going to be a catalyst that we can use to gauge the market top potentially, right? Could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross here on the weekly though, and not yet weekly oversold, and then DXY getting close to overbought, but not yet overbought. We did lose the weekly uptrend. Actually, I wouldn't consider that a loss of the weekly uptrend actually. Wasn't enough of a pivot point there. But we could be forming the weekly higher low now. So 105.36 going to be key support on the DXY. If we lose that, we confirm. Actually, it's not very clear at the moment. We didn't really have our lower high and lower low. This is all kind of on the same consolidation period here. So yeah, key support is going to be 105.36. But if we were to pull back from here, there's not really much room. But if we formed a lower high and a lower low, then we would be in a weekly downtrend. But right now, DXY, no major red flag, still extremely strong. But again, watch for weekly overbought potentially to mark the top on the DXY and the bottom for weekly oversold on SPY to mark the bottom in stocks in the broader market. Gold has been relatively strong as well over the last month or so. Silver likely heading to around 50 bucks in my opinion over the next, call it 6 to 12 months. And then I think gold could be heading up to around that 3K mark in a hurry as well, but likely due for a pretty sizable pullback here for a weekly higher low. Still haven't confirmed a weekly uptrend. So moves all coming off the low. We negated the weekly downtrend with breaking the lower high, lower low pattern, but we haven't formed a weekly higher low and higher high yet. So I would expect a pretty sizable pullback, probably 2 or 3% on gold for a weekly higher low, which, as we know, 2 or 3% on gold is quite a bit. All right. See if there's anything else worth mentioning. It's been a while since I checked in on the market as well, but VIX dropping today. So volatility dropping off a little bit, but should start to ramp up back in the market here soon, in my opinion. All right, taking a look at some individual tickers on the day today. Tesla lost 200, dropped as low as 194. Coming off daily oversold, so we're getting the daily oversold bounce underway at the moment. So that was a potential good swing trade there. If you're looking for just a quick day trade or swing trade, you're looking at about a 6% move so far. And if we start to trend back to that EMA 12, we could see about 215 here over the next day or two, in my opinion, with the market starting to adjust to this new economic assessment from the Fed. So they say the economy is super strong. They're letting on like it's that way, but I really don't think so. I think the economy is in for a rude awakening, and as we know, the Federal Reserve is not always truthful or the most, they lack integrity, right? They kind of tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. And as we know, they kind of inflate numbers and they pick and choose. They leave things in and out. And it's, in my opinion, look at the housing, look at credit card debt, student loan debt, look at inflation, all-time high prices of, essentials. It's not good. Wages aren't going up. We're not seeing as much consumer spending. It's it's going to get rough, especially into 2025 and 2026 when we start to see these long-term 5-year fixed term mortgages renew. If people are already, struggling, what's going to happen when their interest payments go up 2 or even 3x, right? That could add an extra $200 to $400, maybe even $600 to their monthly mortgage payment. It's not the entire payment that doubles; it's just the interest portion. But if somebody has a mortgage payment of $1,500 or $2,000, then it's a good chance that their interest payment is around $500. So if it doubles, right? If they got it in at like 2 or 3% and it's at 6 or 7, well, that's like an extra $500 potentially, or even more, right? Another $1,000, which we know Stats Canada here in Canada, and then in the U.S., people are a few $100s away from not having enough money to pay for their monthly bills. So, like I said, I think it's gonna. And as we know, the housing market takes a while before we really start to see the cracks in the armor, so to speak. And like I said, I think it's going to be a multi-year bear market, and it's going to potentially be worse than the Great Depression, I think, because the market is just euphoric. It's not really making any sense. We know that there was printing of trillions of dollars. They're propping the market up artificially, and it's just a recipe for disaster. And when you get 125% of gains on the S&P 500 in 2 years, which is the average return of about 10 years, right? Around 12% is the average for the S&P 500, and we got 125% in 2 years. So again, it's not looking good. It's pretty bleak for the next few years, but obviously there's going to be some winners and losers inside of that. And I think, as long as you're prepared, as long as you have a hedging plan, you have, cash on the sides, you're diversified in real estate, you got some, crypto, you got some MJ stocks, I think you can't really go wrong in that regard. But I'd be very careful on and selective on what you're going long on over the next few years, specifically tech stocks. VEGA, Code, and HP leading the decline today. On the bullish, we have SMG, AMD, and WNW. So AMD crushed their earnings. You can see here, slight beat in terms of revenue, and then EPS slight beat there as well, but beat nonetheless. And like I said, huge move there off of the low. You're looking at over 15%. How's NVDA doing actually? Because obviously that has been the lead market bull. Yeah, starting to kind of follow a similar trajectory as AMD, but AMD outperforming because of the fact that NVIDIA had such a massive move off the low there at 108, hit a high of 502. So if we just take a look for comparison sake at AMD, 54 to 132, so nowhere near the move, but close to starting the monthly bounce. All right, Canadian MJ. So HMMJ starting the daily bounce for the second day in a row. Could be a bit of an inverse head and shoulders here on the daily as well. If we top out around the neckline there at 855 and then form a right shoulder, then we'll potentially be looking at a inverse head and shoulders, and the target for that would be roughly around $9 if confirmed. But coming off daily oversold, so daily oversold underway, daily oversold bounce underway here as well. And topping out right at EMA 12. So we can get a daily candle close over that level at 842, likely heading back up to EMA 26. And then that would put us right around 872. And one thing we haven't seen yet on HHMJ is the weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. We got very close to seeing it here when we got back above them. And then it ended up being a bull trap, and we didn't see that follow through. But in my opinion, over the next several weeks, maybe 2 to 4 weeks, I think we could see this cross occur. This isn't uncommon. If you take a look here, same thing happened. We were in a huge bear market. We got above it. We were potentially seeing that cross. We dropped to a lower low. That's when you get your final capitulation, right? People are like, see, I told you this is just another sucker's rally, that disbelief phase. And then they drop it to a lower low and you get that accumulation type of pattern and play out. This is usually how it plays out as we eye a potential long-term and massive move reversal to the upside. And then look what happened. We dropped to a lower low and then out of nowhere, boom, off to the races. So I think a similar move is coming where we're potentially gearing up for a bull cross. Didn't happen. We dropped to a lower low. It's the disbelief phase, right? And then I think over the next couple of weeks, we could see a massive move. Something similar. And if we see a similar move to here, that was about a 262% of upside. So if we do 262 from here, you're looking at about a move up to around $30. In terms of gainers on the day today, we have PWR, XTRX, and WIB in Canadian MJ. And on the bear list, we have IMCC, Tilray, and CNBS. Followed by Cron, Tilray, dropping to a weekly lower low this week. So definitely a little bit weaker than some of our major names out there, especially tech. But we're just looking for this monthly higher low. So we have the low, high, looking for the higher low now. How do we know it's a higher low? Because we lost the low of the previous weekly candle, which means we're consolidating, which means we're looking for a new low compared to this low. So 150, we hit a low of 170. We still got a little bit of breathing room before we come to that key support. So if bulls hold that support and then trend back to resistance here at 340 and break that, then we're in a monthly uptrend. That's what we want to see. Cureleaf has already done so, AYR, a few other names, but those two, Cureleaf definitely being one of the strongest, and it is holding key support. But be interested to bring that up on the chart here in a moment, though, because it was getting dangerously close to that support. We got some earnings coming up as well next week. Canopy, we have Trulieve, we have SNDL, I believe, and then on the 8th is the Florida ballot adult use ballot hearing, and arguments will be presented for that. So we should see, in my opinion, an update with regards to that next week. So like I said, this could be a big couple of weeks ahead for MJ, and charts are starting to line up with that as well. CGC also starting monthly consolidation and still needs to confirm a monthly uptrend. So we have the low, high, higher low, trying to form that now. It's a monthly inside bar this month with a brand new month starting today, which I forgot to mention. So hard to believe it's November 1st and only a couple months left of 2023. MSOS, so it was the daily head and shoulders that played out, and we've since even dropped below the 0.786 there at 586 and coming back down to that $5 psychological. So that $5 area has been just an absolute magnet here on the chart. We gave back that whole move from the falling wedge pattern that broke bullish after the monumental decision of HHS recommending Schedule 3. And here we are dropping to another lower low and right back down to basically where we were before that announcement, coming off daily oversold as well. But daily oversold bounce underway here. And if we take a look at the monthly time frame here for MSOS, it looks brutal, but we are still holding key support there at 478. So we had a low of 492. So it's very similar to Tilray in the sense that we got very close to support, but we held it by 5-10%. What was it? 5% away. Not even 2.5%. A little less than 2.5%. So if we form this higher low and hold key support there at 478 and come back and break 988, that's a monthly uptrend confirmed, and we're likely heading to EMA 26, which will bring us to around 14 to 15 bucks. And again, if we see positive earnings next week, if we see a positive outcome from the adult use 2024 ballot in Florida on November 8th, a week from today, this could definitely be the catalyst that we were looking for. And then if we get a response from the DEA with regards to HHS's recommendation, if we get any other kind of reform, safer banking, start to see progress there, it wouldn't take much for this market to really start to fly. But in terms of movers and shakers today, we have BMMJ, so BAM, RWB, and LGLZ leading the bull list. LGLZ is the new ETF. Very low liquidity at the moment, but keep an eye on that one as it starts to mature. FIT, MRMD, and KGKG leading the decline. I do want to take a look at Cureleaf. So Cureleaf just getting absolutely hammered, just like the MSOS chart. But if we take a look at the monthly time frame, it held key support there. So key monthly support was 345. We hit a low of 348. So 3 pennies away from a double bottom, but monthly uptrend still intact with the low, high, higher low, and higher high. And now we're looking for another higher low compared to that 345. So key support's 345. Lose that, we lose the monthly uptrend, and that is not a good sign. But the more names that confirm these monthly uptrends, the better. So it's looking pretty decent. Key support's holding. That's what we want to see. It's all about support and resistance at this point. Just checking in on the community. I know we have a couple of requests, so we'll take a look at those. Checking in on the news. Not much news coming in at the moment. So I'll jump into some ticker requests. I think the first one was CGC. Yeah, we can take a look at CGC, XRP, and SPY. Sure, no problem. So I already did a little bit of an analysis on SPY, but we'll do a deeper one here in a moment. Let's do XRP first because I have everything already set up on my charts for XRP. So we'll zoom out here. So on the weekly time frame, just going to get rid of some of these levels here. So we have the fib tool. You go from the high there at 94 and then go to the low here at 42. And you can see here we topped out right at, it was like 62. I didn't draw that properly. There we go. So we topped out right at the 0.32 fib retracement, which is at 62 cents. So exactly 62 cents is where we topped out here on this weekly move. And we have the 0.5 retracement there, which would be a 50% retracement of this pullback. So what that just means that from here, from the high to the low, we're very close to seeing a 50% retracement, which means we've recovered 50% of the losses. So typically, if we fail to get over the 0.32 fib, that is conceived as bearish, right? But if you take a look at low, high, higher, low, and higher high, we are in a weekly uptrend, but we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross. So it's leaning a little bit bearish at the moment, and a potential for a temporary top being set and some consolidation. And again, if the S&P 500 is due for some weekly consolidation, the Bitcoin, the broader market, and the crypto market at large, then we could see that weakness spill over into XRP. I do think that XRP will outperform a lot of the market, especially in the sector, into the next bull market. But right now, I think Bitcoin will lead the way before we see a potential alt season. And I mentioned today that I'm just, really hoping that we see alt season occur before MJ starts its major reversal. I'm not sure if that's going to hold out that long, but I'm also looking for 2024 to start in January, when we can add, I think it's going to be $6,500 worth of contribution room to my TFSA, or our TFSAs if you're in Canada, tax-free savings accounts, because if you're like me, you maxed it out and you're just waiting for that extra $6,500 that you can add at rock bottom prices, right? But even if we jump 100, 200% from here, it's still absolutely a bargain, right? From where we were in February 2021 and all-time highs. So at the moment, again, XRP needs to get over 62 cents. If we can get over 62 cents, then it's 68. And then, in my opinion, after we get above that 0.5 fib level, that 50% retracement, then we're back into bull mode, right? Where things can potentially start to heat up and all systems go, so to speak. And then we want to see the broader market and Bitcoin hold up as well. But like I said, 68 is going to be key, because that's going to be over 50%. And then we're starting to get into that new bull territory where we could start to go parabolic, and we have no weekly resistance all the way up until 94 cents after that. So realistically, on the price action, there's no resistance nearby until 94. So we could be heading to $1 real quick if we get over 68 cents, in my opinion. And then ultimately, in the next bull market, we just do what Bitcoin has done. If we go from the all-time high here at about 330, we'll just do a rough one, to the low here at 11 cents. We could see if we do what Bitcoin and Ethereum did, that's about a $12 XRP, right? The 3.618 fib extension, or the 4.618 will bring us to about $15. So I think 8 to 12 is realistic. Maybe we hit $15 in the next bull market. Could even overshoot that, right? We've been suppressed for so long, and it's the only one with US legal clarity. But yeah, this chart's looking ready to go on the weekly time frame. We're closing above the 10-week moving average. We're seeing a bull cross on the weekly MACD. Stochastic already had its bull cross. And yeah, we're looking really good here at the moment in terms of the weekly moving averages. You can see here the 50 is very close to crossing the 200 and the 100 all in one go. Last time that happened, like I said, price went from about 17 cents up to $2, right? So we're gearing up for a similar type of move. So it's looking really, really good here. Like I said, it could be a matter of weeks before we see a massive breakout here on XRP. And we had a death cross. We got that out of the way, and now we're gearing up for another golden cross here on the daily time frame. So, like I said, it could be a matter of weeks before we really start to see some huge momentum to the upside on XRP. All right, I think that's pretty much it. See if there's anything else I can see. So haven't started the monthly bounce yet. 62 cents was also the high of last month. So not only did we have a fib level, we also had the high of last month as resistance. So 62, then 68, then we're off to the races up to about 94 in my opinion. And we're seeing a monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on XRP. So, I mean, you couldn't ask for a more bullish chart, right? We're just waiting for that final confirmation. Like I said, if we break 68, probably heading to a buck in a hurry. But monthly uptrend as well. Low, high, higher low and higher high, higher low and higher high, higher low. All these higher lows staying intact. So tons of support, right? We got 28, 29, another level here at what, 41, another one here at 42. So just going up the stairs, right? And then that EMA 12 and 26 bull cross playing out as well. And Bitcoin already had its bull cross, right? So again, we're just kind of lagging, but Bitcoin usually leads, especially as the market recovers. So hopefully that helps. Let's take a look at CGC. Yeah, CGC not looking like XRP at all. So that's why I think that, you know, alt season's more than likely going to occur, and we're going to see a lot of our cryptos, especially, you know, altcoins, really start to outperform, and then we should start to see MJ kind of shine and take the spotlight over the next couple of years. But I think we could be ending this multi-year bear market and potentially starting a new multi-year bull market, but doesn't mean we're not going to have pullbacks along the way and some turbulence. But again, CGC, low, high, higher low. We're looking for a higher low compared to the low there at 34 cents. If we form this higher low and maintain that support level at 34 and break resistance at $1.92, that would give us a monthly uptrend. But we're likely months away before that happens, in my opinion. On the weekly time frame, again, we're still watching for the weekly EMAs to cross bullish. And again, just like I mentioned before, look, we got very close from a bull cross here. Everybody probably thought we were going to the moon there as well, right? And then we had one more lower low, that disbelief phase before a massive upside and rally. Same thing here. We potentially got close to seeing that. We got above those EMAs, and then we come back down. It's that disbelief phase, right? Suckers rally, and then we get a huge move out of nowhere. And it's more than likely going to be news driven, in my opinion. But we need to see those EMA 12 and 26 bull cross to be confident that this multi-year bear market is over. And then we need to see the monthly uptrend confirm as well, which again, it's probably going to be at least a couple of months before we see that happen, which would be good because, like I said, I might get my wish of MJ staying low, or at least somewhat low around these levels until we see alt season, and then until January where those TFSA contribution rooms. So wishful thinking, but you know, we stayed this low for so long. It's been 3 years. So let's what's a couple more months? More time to accumulate, really. And then yeah, on the weekly time frame, we're back below the 10-week moving average. We're close to seeing a weekly MACD bear cross and stochastic bearish as well. So 2 out of our 3 macro indicators not looking too hot at the moment, but topped out rate at the 50 weekly, and like for example, XRP was seeing a bull cross of these weekly moving averages with the 50 crossing above the 200. We're many months away for that before that happens, in my opinion. So again, could be like, you know, into 2024, which we know that the timeline for HHS and DEA and rescheduling to Schedule 3 could be sometime next year. So again, that would make sense, right? We could be Could be 3-6 months away before we see this happen, before we see those cross. If you take a look at here, whenever they cross bearish, when the 50 was above the 200-day and it started to curl and lose that 50 weekly as support, we were in July 2019 and we didn't bottom until March of 2020, right? And then we had the bull cross, which was very short-lived, and that's generally what happens in MJ or in crypto, is these bull moves are super, fast and quick and massive, and then the bear markets are long, drawn-out, boring, downside moves of hell, right? And then that's just how the market's designed, especially in a new nascent industry that just hasn't matured yet. And this will eventually end at some point, but there'll always be pullbacks, there'll always be rallies. But I think the length of these bear markets are definitely going to be start to diminish drastically as the sector matures and gets regulatory clarity and more adoption, right? And then we're still quite a ways away before the 50 there, 50-day moving average at 73 cents crosses the 200 there at 120. So again, it could be a couple months away before we see a golden cross on CGC. And a similar move happened back here, right? We were gearing up for a golden cross, almost got it. One more capitulation and final move down before the big move, right? So if we see something similar, we could be gearing up for this cross, come back, trend back to around that dollar area, come back down, see one more final flush, and then the golden cross. And that kind of lines up with my thesis that we're, multiple months away before we really start to see MJ kick it into high gear. Again, no pun intended. All right, so I already took a look at SPY, but we can take another look here in just a moment. But on the daily time frame for CGC, we're trying to confirm a daily uptrend here with a low, high, higher low, and a higher high. So if we get above 64 cents, that's going to be key resistance on CGC. Then we're back in a daily uptrend. Then we watch for the weekly bounce to get underway. And then we look for the monthly, which is the most important, and the weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross to mark a potential new bull market starting. All right, let's take a look at SPY. So the market has closed, and we closed right at the high of the day. It looks like pretty close. So high of the day was 423.50. We closed at 422.69. But we're still in a daily downtrend here as well, with lower highs and lower lows. And it was a daily bear flag on the S&P 500. And we were targeting 405, and we hit 409. So the bear flag was from here. You take the high to the low, move it out of the 0.32 fib. And when we lost 417.80, that's when we confirmed it. And we came very close to hitting that target. So sometimes we overshoot, sometimes we undershoot. In this case, we undershot. But at the moment, we could be, like I said, inverse head and shoulders in that bearish reversal or bullish reversal pattern that forms near the end of a downtrend, right? But still need to get back in a daily uptrend. So we're more than likely due for some daily consolidation over the next 2 to 3 days, in my opinion, as we look for a higher low and higher high. But daily oversold bounce, like I said, underway. And if you added there, like I said, looking at that daily bear flag target, if you added there and looked at the daily oversold bounce, you're looking at over 3.5% so far on that move on the daily oversold bounce. I see I can now adjust my expectations. Thank you as always. You're welcome. No problem at all. Not sure how to pronounce your handle there. I'll just call you Yame. Or Yami, I guess. Not sure how that would go. But yeah, right now, the S&P 500 still bearish, but glimmer of hope would be that inverse head and shoulders. And again, we still need that higher low and higher high to be back in a daily uptrend. So watch for that daily higher low to form potentially over the next few days. But again, the fact that we still haven't seen this EMA 12 and 26 bear cross just continues to spark some concern, and we still haven't seen weekly oversold yet. And then, like I said, DXY still showing some relative strength, breaking to a weekly higher high this week, and very close to overbought on the weekly. And it was a bull flag as well. We did lose that 0.32 fib there, so that did decrease the odds that this bull flag is going to play out. I said I wanted it to hold that 105 50 area, and we did lose that. We hit 105.36. So that does decrease the odds of this bull flag playing out, which had a target of about 110, just under 110. So in my opinion, I think the top on DXY could be very close, and the bottom on on SPY could be very close, and I'm talking weeks away. And again, that lines up with my analysis on the crypto market, looking like it's weeks away from a massive breakout. SPY we also had a POW algo sell alert go off on the S&P 500, on QQQ, on the tech sector, and we confirmed a weekly downtrend here with the high, low, lower high, and lower low, lower high, and lower low. And we had an EMA, or sorry, we had a MACD and stochastic bear cross here, as well as we confirmed the weekly downtrend. So this is when we would have been a great short opportunity, when we had the high, low, lower high, and lower low. So once we lost the low here at 431.49, that's when we confirmed the weekly downtrend. Then we had the bear cross on stochastic and the MACD. So that was, basically three major signals that we were likely heading lower. And if you went short at 430, after the loss of 431 on that weekly downtrend confirming, we went as low as 409, right? So that was a nice short opportunity. But we are gearing up for a potential bull cross on the stochastic. MACD still a little ways away. So again, it could be a few weeks. Again, adding to that thought process that we could see over the next few weeks a temporary bottom being set and a massive move into the end of the year, and a potential for a Santa Claus rally. Whoops. So SPY on the weekly time frame. So we did have a bear cross of the 50 and the 100, but we're having a bull cross now of the 50 and the 100, and we're holding those weekly moving averages. If we do dip below 405 and 400 psychological, we do have the 200 weekly there at 383, which we could backtest. But at the moment, we're holding those weekly moving averages there at 410. We dipped slightly below it, so that's a little bit of crack in the armor. So we're a little bit skeptical. And again, we're looking for that weekly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross to get it out of the way and potentially print weekly oversold, and then DXY to potentially print weekly overbought. So I'm leaning that we could potentially see that 200 weekly come into play here over the next week or two, and then set a bottom. And then, like I said, over the next few weeks, we form that bottom and then start a massive end of year rally, I think is very, very likely. In terms of the daily time frame, we could potentially see a death cross on the S&P 500, again adding more confidence to the fact that we could see that EMA 12 and 26 bear cross on the weekly, and weekly oversold territory hit on the S&P 500. And we did dip below the 200-day moving average as well, so we're losing all the daily moving averages, which is a cause for concern. So in my opinion, we could see a down week into next week, and then a massive end of year rally is what I'm looking at. But it's all about 409 from here. After 409, it's 400, and then after 400, we'll be looking at 383 there on the S&P 500. So those are some key support levels to be watching. In terms of resistance, we're looking at the high of last week there at 424.82. We had 423.50, unable to break it in a weekly downtrend still. And then next resistance is going to be 438.14. Break that, we're no longer in a weekly downtrend either. So those are some key resistance levels to be watching. Checking in on the news. Not seeing anything major. Some earnings came out here after hours. Nothing major. Take a look at the stock channel. It's a pretty quiet week for earnings after mega cap tech earnings that were last week and the week prior. But yeah, we don't really have much toward the end of the week here. All right, well, hopefully that market update was helpful. I'll be back for another update on Friday, and I got some appointments here this afternoon, so I might try to get a appointment at the doctor here with my girlfriend, getting a checkup on baby, and then I've got a meeting as well later on this evening, but I'll try to get one out at some point. I also got a couple of viewings as well on the condo, so hard to say if I'll get another one out today, but if not, should be able to tomorrow. All right, have a great evening, and we'll talk to everybody in the chat room in a little bit.